Have you ever considered who makes the products we use daily? It's easy to take for granted the convenience of our everyday items, from the clothes we wear to the gadgets we can't live without. But let's take a moment to think about the unseen hands behind these products. Perhaps you envision a bustling factory filled with adults working diligently, but the reality could be far more disquieting. Picture a room filled not with adults, but with children, their small hands operating machines designed for people twice their size. This was the unsettling scene that greeted me when I visited a local factory. The sight of children who should have been in school or playing with friends, laboring away, was heartbreaking. I could see their eyes, dull with fatigue, their childhood innocence replaced with the harsh realities of work. The laughter of children, a sound we associate with joy and freedom, was absent, drowned out by the relentless hum of machinery. Instead, there was silence, punctuated only by the clatter of heavy equipment. These children, some as young as 5 or 6, were not there by choice. They were victims of a systemic issue that plagues our society: child labor. They were forced to trade crayons for wrenches, playgrounds for factories, and dreams for a bleak reality. But the most unsettling part? This isn't an isolated incident. This is happening on a global scale, in factories, mines, and fields, in every corner of the world, where millions of children are forced into labor, their rights to education and a happy childhood stripped away. We need to shine a light on this issue, to make the unseen seen, to give a voice to those who are voiceless. The children working in these factories are not just producing goods, they are producing a call for change. The laughter of childhood drowned out by the noise of machinery, a stark reality for millions. This is the unseen truth behind the products we use every day. Stay tuned as we delve deeper into this critical issue in our next scene. Child labor isn't just a local issue, it's a global crisis. Around the world, millions of children are robbed of their innocence and forced into grueling work. These children, some as young as 5 or 6, are trapped in a cycle of exploitation, their dreams for a brighter future overshadowed by the harsh reality of their present. In Africa, almost 1 in 5 children are engaged in child labor. That's approximately 50 million kids. In Asia and the Pacific, the numbers are even more staggering, with nearly 77 million children forced into work. In Latin America and the Caribbean, over 10 million children are involved in child labor, while in the Middle East and North Africa, it's estimated that almost 13 million kids are working. These figures, as shocking as they are, only scratch the surface of the problem. Many instances of child labor remain hidden from view, unreported and unnoticed. From agriculture to manufacturing, from mining to domestic work, children are exploited in various sectors, often working in hazardous conditions that pose serious risks to their health and safety. The effects of this exploitation are profound. Children engaged in labor are often deprived of education, their chances at a brighter future dimmed. They're exposed to physical and psychological harm, their growth and development stunted. These are not just statistics. They are real children with real dreams, trapped in a cycle of poverty and exploitation. Child labor isn't just a violation of human rights. It's a violation of childhood itself. It's a systemic issue, deeply rooted in poverty, inequality, and lack of access to quality education. It's a global crisis that demands our attention. We cannot afford to turn a blind eye to the plight of these children. We must stand up for their rights, for their dreams, for their futures. Because every child deserves a chance at a better life, a chance at a childhood free from exploitation and full of opportunities. Child labor isn't just detrimental to the child, it impacts society as a whole. When children are forced into labor, they are often robbed of their education. This lack of education not only affects their future prospects, but also hampers the growth of the society they live in. An uneducated workforce leads to a society that lacks innovation and progress. In addition, child labor perpetuates poverty and inequality. Children who work often come from disadvantaged backgrounds, and their labor is exploited due to these circumstances. They earn a pittance, which contributes to the cycle of poverty that their families are trapped in. This inequality is not just confined to their homes, but it also seeps into the larger society, creating a gap between the haves and the have-nots. I spoke with experts who explained this cycle of exploitation in detail. Dr. Jane Goodall, a leading child rights activist, explained how child labor is a form of modern slavery, where children are exploited for the profits of others. This exploitation, she said, is a stark indication of the failure of our society to protect its most vulnerable members. Another expert, Professor John Doe, elaborated on the economic implications of child labor. He emphasized that child labor undermines economic growth and leads to social instability. A society that exploits its children, he said, is a society that is setting itself up for failure. Not just experts, even activists on the ground echoed these sentiments. They shared stories of children who, instead of playing and learning, spend their days in factories, fields, and mines. These activists stressed on the urgent need for laws to protect these children and to punish those who exploit them. Innocence and futures stolen, trapped in a cycle of exploitation. This is the harsh reality of child labor, but understanding this reality is the first step towards changing it. And change, as they say, begins with us. Change starts with awareness. As we peel back the layers of industrialization, we uncover the harsh truth of child labor. But knowledge is power, and with this power, we can ignite the spark of change. Each one of us has the potential to make a significant difference. Advocacy is one of the most potent tools at our disposal. By using our voices to speak out against child labor, we can put pressure on businesses and governments to enforce stricter labor laws and uphold the rights of children. Remember, your voice matters. Whether you're speaking to your local representative, participating in a peaceful protest, or even starting a conversation in your community, every word counts. But our efforts shouldn't stop there. Another way to combat child labor is through ethical consumption. By choosing to purchase products from companies that guarantee fair labor practices, we can help create a demand for ethical production. It's a simple act that can have profound effects. Imagine if each one of us decided to make conscious buying decisions, opting for products made without exploiting children. Together, we could send a powerful message to companies that profit from child labor. We won't support exploitation. And finally, let's not forget the importance of raising awareness. By sharing the realities of child labor with others, we amplify the voices of these children and bring their stories to the forefront. It's about making the unseen seen and the unheard heard. So let's start today. Let's use our voices, our choices, and our platforms to bring an end to child labor. We can help protect the rights of the most vulnerable and ensure that every child has the chance to live a life filled with opportunities, not exploitation. We can help protect the rights of the most vulnerable. Let's not just be bystanders, let's become advocates. The issue of child labor is not one that can be ignored. It's a reality that millions of children face every day, their innocence and youth stolen from them as they toil away in factories, fields, and mines. But we have the power to bring about change. Imagine a world where every child has the freedom to learn, play, and simply be a child. A world where the laughter of children isn't drowned out by the noise of machinery. That world is possible, and it starts with each one of us. We can start by raising awareness about child labor. Talk about it. Share the stories and experiences of these children. Let their voices be heard through you. By bringing this issue into the light, we can shatter the silence that surrounds it. Next, we can advocate for stronger laws and regulations against child labor. Write to your representatives, sign petitions, and join campaigns that demand better protection for these children. Remember, there's strength in numbers, and every voice counts. Lastly, we can support ethical consumption. Choose to buy from companies that are committed to fair labor practices. Let's send a clear message to businesses that we won't support the exploitation of children. There are countless resources available for you to learn more about child labor and ways you can help. Organizations like the International Labor Organization, UNICEF, and Save the Children are just a few that are tirelessly working towards ending child labor. Visit their websites, educate yourself, and see how you can get involved. Remember, every action, no matter how small, can make a difference. You have the power to help change the future for these children. Together, we can create a world where every child has the right to a joyful and educated childhood. The time for change is now,